Today we're going to be discussing why sales calls are dead. And that's the difference between today and 10 years ago. You can't offer a free call of you telling them more about the service at the same time when you're going to close them. Now you become more of an order taker than someone trying to close someone. They've turned up to the call because they've watched that, they're pre-sold on it, and they know everything about what you do and why you're the perfect person to work with them. If you want maximum results, you need that process in place. So when you see sales calls are dead, you worry, you think, oh my God, this process needs to change. But realistically, it's all for your benefit. If you just think that posting stories and results on your Instagram feed is enough, it's not. Everything is going to be better when you understand this process. Alright guys, welcome back to another video with Work-Life Unbalanced. Today we're going to be discussing why sales calls are dead. Now at the time of the recording this video, it's 2025, we're heading into 2026, and I'm going to explain to you, and you're going to understand why sales calls are dead moving forward in the way that you see them right now, and how they are actually being used right now. This is good news if you're a founder or a business owner of a service-based business like coaching, consultancy, agency owner, because sales for the most part, and small minority of you might love sales calls. I'm actually in that camp. I love sales calls, but I'm sad that they're dead in the traditional way, but I'm also not sad in the way that they are moving forward now. So there is still a need for calls before any sales guru on there is watching this and is like, my God, sales calls are dying. They're not. There's always a need, right? And I'm going to explain the shift in how they are moving forward. And if you're not on path with this shift, if you're not on, it's like trying to still send emails back like 20, 30 years ago when now we can just text people, right? The world's moving forward. So we need to adapt, and you need to adapt. Otherwise, you're just going to be missing out on opportunities, missing out on conversations because they're not happening in the traditional sense, okay? First of all, why are sales calls dying? Let's just go back 10 years for you to understand this process, and we'll go from maybe 2015 all the way forward to 2020, just before COVID. Now, in the fitness industry, this is where I come from. We built PB Academy, a fitness coaching company, to over 250 plus active clients, and with a team of delivery coaches, obviously, and a sales system. I also got a gym, different business, but my experience is there, right? Just so you know, that's where I've got my experience from. I haven't figured this stuff out just overnight. So the way sales calls were is the traditional discovery call. You've probably seen this before. Jump on for a strategy call, anything like that, right? Where it's dressed up as something different to find out more about your service, what you offer. And you might be doing this right now, right? So before you drop your guard up, like, I'm going to try and help you understand and see this in a different way. Now, the way that was and the way it worked is because people were so unaware that you had to offer a really low risk, low barrier entry into being able to have that conversation with someone. And you go through the discovery process, because this is the way a traditional call works, right? And this is going to be important for later on down the line as well. So you've got the discovery. So we've got 3 parts to a sales call. I can't even spell discovery. Oh my God, discovery. It's been a long day, right? It's the end of the day when I'm doing this. Discovery, then you've got the pitch, and then you've got the close. Okay, so that's the way. Basically, it's like 1, 2, 3. It's like 3 parts to a call, and depending on the service you provide, you might even split this over 2 calls, maybe 3 calls. But most of the time, it can be done in 1 call, depending on the service. But this is what it looks like. Okay. Now, the problem with today and compared to before is this was fine before. People weren't aware of all these offerings, and they weren't aware that it was a sales call to move forward with someone. And you might be sitting there saying, I'm not a sales guy, I'm not a salesy person, I just believe in my service, and I want to speak to people and offer that to people. The problem is, realistically, you want them to move forward, right? So it is technically a sales process, or as part of a sales call. Now, for those of you that are very salesy, you're probably thinking, well, I need sales calls because I may be in a service where I am back-to-back on sales, and I've been there as well, doing literally 6 to 8 calls per day, and you need to close those calls for people to jump on straight away, close that sales cycle as small as possible so that you can keep making money, making more, getting new clients into the business. Now, what I'm going to tell you is how they're shifting forward and how it's going to change for your business. It's going to free up more time for you as a business owner. It's going to increase your close rate, increase your show up rate. Everything is going to be better when you understand this process. So we've got 3 parts to that, right? Now, let me just clarify why they're dead. Is because people see now straight away that it's actually a big ask for someone to jump onto a free consultation or a free strategy call or a free discovery call, because they know when they're stepping into that environment, I know for a fact I'm going to be speaking with a sales guy. I'm going to be speaking to someone that wants me to move forward with the service, right? I might be very pushy, or they might be following all these bro tactics online where they're going to want me to progress forward, and they're going to be telling me that I'm not going to invest in myself or something like that if I don't move forward with the sale. So it's actually a big ask now. Whereas before, 10 years ago, it was a small ask, very low risk for the person to jump on because they weren't aware of what they were getting into. Now, most people are aware. If I'm booking a call with someone, it's because they want me by the end of that call to become a client, right? If I'm the right fit for them. So that's why it's now no longer a small ask, it's a big ask, which is why it's a problem. So offering a sales call, a consultation call, a strategy call, a discovery call is a big ask. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so it's not an easy ask anymore. So we need to have a different way of getting people through the funnel. So the real problem there, as I just discussed, is the fact that it's a big ask. And why is it a big ask? This is what highlights the real root cause of the problem. The root cause of the problem is, if they were all hot leads, it would not be a big ask for them to jump on a call and move forward you. The problem with it being a big ask is the fact that they don't know enough about you yet. I seen a good coach that I like and follow yesterday literally put this up. How do you work with me, right? And it was like, it's as easy as you click the link in my bio. There's a WhatsApp link there that takes you to WhatsApp. We start a conversation, then we hop on a free 20-minute call and we chat about your goals, right? That playbook worked well before. But now people know that that's the next step, is you paying the money and becoming a client with them to work with them, right? So that's the real problem, is you can't offer a free call of you telling them more about the service at the same time when you're going to close them and try and push them forward into it, buying into your service. So how do we solve that problem? And what is the problem? The problem is they don't know enough about your service. They don't know what you do. They don't know how it works. They don't know if it's the right fit for them. They don't know anything about your packages, your prices. All of these questions they've got in their head is now too risky for them to jump on a call with you, because they want to find out before the call. They want to know more information before the call. And that's the difference between today and 10 years ago, is before, they weren't aware of what it was, so they would jump on and they would have that conversation with you. Now, they need that information before the call. Now, why is this a good thing? Because you as a founder could be wasting your time with repetitive conversations, repeating your service over and over again, and explain to the person that might not even be qualified, and might not even be the right person to work with you about your service, and getting on that call. And your time is the most valuable thing in the world. Unless you believe it's not, right? If I was to give you £1 million tomorrow for your days to end the next day, would you take that bet? Probably not, right? Because realistically, when it all comes down to things, money is not the most important asset, right? Time is. So we need to protect your time so you can focus it on scaling the business and actually operating the business and delivering a great service, not just offering free consultations to everyone, because if they all got booked up overnight, your time would just be spent doing sales, which is not what you want to do as a business owner. So how do we solve this problem, right? The key is education. And this is where it gets really interesting, okay? So education, I'm just going to put education, okay? To get them basically from cold to warm. Because imagine if every single person that jumps on a call with you is a warm lead, ready to buy, that fully understands exactly what you do and they want to work with you. So we don't want them to be cold, that's no, and we want them to be warm. Okay, that's what we want. So the key for this is education. That's how we get them there. So now the question becomes, okay, if sales calls are still technically needed to progress someone forward in the sale, but we want them to be educated leads, because the problem with them at the moment is they don't want to book because they know it's a sales process and they're not just going to hop on to discuss with you more about your service, what you do. Are you the right person for them? Do they even trust you? What proof have you got? All these questions. How can we inject that into them through the customer journey, right? If you're to be smart as a business owner and systemize this process, how can we do it? Well, you can look back at your sales calls and you can ask yourself, okay, what part of the call here is repeated all of the time? And I believe anything that can be repeated can be automated. And I proved this process, right? Because when we were scaling up, I realized I was becoming that exact problem. I'm trying to get this lid off the moment. I'm not as strong as I thought I was. And I don't want the paint to go everywhere. But I was stuck. I was managing a team for the first time ever, and I was managing meetings, client delivery, I was managing sales, and sales started to become overwhelming only because of my time. I was stuck doing so many sales calls because now I had a growing team. At one point, we went all the way up to 5 coaches, and I had to bring on everyone. I was the guy doing sales at the end. I was doing the calls, and I had to close. I had to systemize that process as much as possible, and I realized the pitch. Right, this is where you bring up a slideshow, maybe a professional presentation, and you explain all about what you do. The discovery is the fun part. That's where you have an authentic conversation back and forth with someone on a sales call. You find out more about them. You're just basically asking question, find out all the information about them, making sure that they have the right fit for you, and answering any questions they have. The pitch is where it comes back to you, and you become a bit of a presenter because you really want to really explain how good your service is and what you do, right? Which is what a lot of people do live on a call. But it's repetitive. It's the same thing over and over again because your service doesn't really change. Yes, the customization changed to the person, but you can explain that easily by saying it's all customized to you. So we can automate this. And I did. I automated it for PB Academy. I then realized this will work for the gym as well, right? Instead of trying to train up the staff on reception to be expert salespeople and close every member that walk through the door, we built this professional presentation that they had to watch before they walked into the gym for the gym tour. They were pre-sold on every single membership option. They knew everything about it and they knew which one they wanted. So when they had an authentic conversation, they just were sold already. So it was easy. Increased the close rates massively. So we cut this out of the call. We cut this out of the live calls. What did this do? Saved 20 minutes per call. Minimum, right? Depending on how long your presentation is, how long you spend on the pitch. Cut that out. And what we do is we move it before. So when you look at this, right, this is what's replacing sales calls. Okay, we move this. So if you look at the process of when someone books in, you've got traffic at the top, right? So if you look at this, is a new thing, right? You got traffic, and then you've got they book the call, and then they become a client. Right. Okay. I can't spell for some reason when I try to type on this board. But anyway, before they book a call, so instead of handling all this process live on the call here, we basically moved the pitch and we inserted it here. So if I need to stop putting the lids back on. But you put the pitch here. And it's a must-watch video, right? So the pitch is here from when they become a lead, the traffic comes through onto the landing page, lead magnet, whatever you've got. Before they book a call, they get sent this video, and it's the pitch. It's the professional pitch. And it's done in a way where it walks them through the customer journey. If you've never watched the video we've done on customer awareness, they basically have to become, you talk about their pains, their problems, you relate to them, then you educate them so they're not problem unaware, they're now aware of the exact specific problem they've got. You then educate them on the solutions so they become solution aware, and then you educate them on your product, your service, so they now become product aware and they know exactly what you do, how it works. You bombard them with proof, social proof, and then they become a client because they're ready to buy. So when they hop on that call, it now no longer becomes a sales call. Now you become more of an order taker than someone trying to close someone and walk in someone through a presentation. You just have a very short 15 to 20 minute authentic conversation, all discovery about them, and then you skip straight away to the close. There is something we teach as well about the pitch and how to actually handle that, because you still need to technically pitch a little bit. It's like one sentence, but they've watched the video before, so they've consumed time from you presenting your service, your product, why it works for them. They already know. That's why they've joined up to the call. They've turned up to the call because they've watched that, they're pre-sold on it, and they know everything about what you do and why you're the perfect person to work with them. Okay? So that's why it works. That's where sales calls are progressing towards. So it's not so much of a sales call. And the best part about this is, if you really don't want to do sales calls, you don't need to. Yes, you're going to have less opportunity to maybe talk to that person, and I would argue give a better experience to that person. I believe in the sales call process, the first call is important, and you will close more deals like that. You will increase your close rate. So make sure you do that. I would have it as part of the process. It's up to you on how you want to run your business, depending on the lifestyle you want. But if you want maximum results, you need that process in place. And this is going to warm up leads, educate them so that when they join, they're ready to buy. Okay? So that's where sales calls are progressing to. That's why traditional sales calls are dead in the way that they worked before and how they were being used to basically attract leads and get people to book in with you. It's not happening in the same way. And the result for this is actually better than what you would expect. So when you see sales calls are dead, you worry, you think, oh my God, this process needs to change. But realistically, it's all for your benefit, okay? So if we look at what you have to do now and what the result is going to be, the result is going to be increase, in close rate, show up rate. So you're gonna have more people show, especially if you've ever run paid ads to a cold audience. You'll notice show up rates tank compared to an organic audience. So this is really important because it educates them, it warms them up, and they will show at a much higher rate. And better for you, right? You now halve the call time, and you focus on actually scaling the business, because you're no longer a salesperson stuck in your business where you have to take these calls and educate them and go through this repetitive, long, drawn-out process and speaking to people that are potentially unqualified. So that's why I made this video, because it's important that you adapt to this new style and take advantage of it before everyone else does, because people are going to learn, and you're already losing out on potential customers because they're not booking in a call with you because they don't know what you do, they don't know why it works, they don't know if it's for them, they don't know why they should trust you because there's no social proof everywhere. And if you just think that posting stories and results on your Instagram feed is enough, it's not, right? People don't see it. The algorithms have changed. Your followers don't see everything you post. So you need to have this one video where it just injects everything they need to see into them, into their brain. So they know now when they speak to you what you do. They trust you. They want to buy. So when they book that call, it's basically, it's done. It's pre-sold. It's the hard part's over. I hope this makes sense. This channel is all about scaling and growing a service business, so make sure you subscribe if you're trying to do that. Only subscribe if you're trying to do that. I don't want anyone that's not trying to grow or scale a service business. So yeah, let me know if you've got any questions. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.